I was taken prisoner. Kurgal. Kurgal, where the soul is killed slowly. 15 years I've rotted in the darkness. Waited. Not to kill you, to kill your soul.
Going to be a very harsh and unpleasant kind of business. And will, I think, require an extremely harsh and unpleasant kind of man to see to it. Going to be a very harsh and unpleasant kind of business. And will, I think, require an extremely harsh and unpleasant kind of man to see to it.
Couch Co-op! Couch Co-op! Couch Co-op!
Whoops, that's the wrong one. There's the right one. Ha! Fucking up every chance I get. Live streaming fuck ups. Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show, and I'm your host, Ian. And joining me tonight will be Jarrod. He hasn't hopped on yet. Dave and Aaron have the night off. We are focusing our discussion on the Ubisoft video game Immortals Fenyx Rising, formerly known as Gods and Monsters. But until then, until Jarrod pops on, and hopefully he pops on, because if he doesn't, we're going to end this right here. But eventually he's going to hop on, and we're going to talk video games. So what we'll do before, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Yeah? You don't say. Get out of here. Really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Does that cover all the bases? Was that shitty of me? I apologize. Yeah. You know what? I'm doing pretty good. It was a good weekend. Got a lot done in my new house. If you're streaming, you can kind of see my new room. Very exciting. If you are just listening on a podcast, you can't really see it, but it's cool. Let me tell you, it's cool. It's got a lot of potential and exciting things. It's like a nerd boner room. Your pants would get tight if you walked in here. You might even explode. What should we do while we're waiting for Jarrod? Let us check out some news. What do we got? God of War's free upgrade for PS5 launches tomorrow. What? God of War gets a free upgrade. 60 frames per second. 2160p resolution available, or opt for the original performance specs. Hey, there you go. You get pretty. That's pretty cool, right? Tuesday, February 2nd, free patch adds a new menu option that gives PS5 players 60 frames per second performance with 4K resolution. 4K. It's UHD. Oh, that's going to be our one piece of news, because it looks like Jarrod's popping in. There he is. I can't hear him, but he's popping in. There he
Just got it turned on, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Yay.
I got all the intro stuff out of the way and was even able to get a piece of news in.
Yeah, I'll be downloading God of War.
God of War.
I want to check it out. 60
God
frames
of
per
War.
second, 4K. That's
God
rad.
of War.
Yeah.
How you doing tonight, Jarrod?
Yeah, doing good. Just ate some pizza. I like Monday pizza night.
Hey, we're having pizza tonight too. It's
Yeah.
getting delivered.
Oh,
So
okay.
at
We
some
just went-
point, Domino's pizza will arrive on my table, and I will be shoving it in my face.
Okay, yeah, we just had simple DiGiorno. Just kind
Oh,
of
I love
out
DiGiorno's
at home.
though. DiGiorno's so good.
Yeah, very good.
Bryn's painting the kitchen tonight, and so the kitchen's kind of off limits in a sense, since she didn't want to cook. So,
Oh, darn, huh?
holy shit! Aaron's actually
Hey,
joining
Aaron.
us. I should probably. Aaron, we did not think Aaron would show. I did not think Aaron would show.
Technical difficulties, my friend.
I didn't think you were gonna be on the show tonight, because you didn't want to come unless Jason was gonna show up.
I did some research on Immortal Fenyx Rising.
You
By
did
that I mean played the demo.
You did?
Yeah, I played the
Holy
demo.
shit! Holy shit! I'm sorry, guys. I gotta redo the intro. Joining me tonight is Jarrod and Aaron to talk about Immortal
Hey.
Fenyx Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, welcome, Aaron.
Very
Howdy.
cool. Very cool. Yeah. I didn't hear from Jason. I mean, he's probably asleep right now anyway. I wasn't thinking he would
Yeah.
show up, and I didn't think Aaron. I know Dave didn't want to show up tonight because of this. But
Yeah.
Aaron, thank you for
Grace.
a little extra effort. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
So yeah, tonight I wanted to talk about, well, mainly because Jarrod had beaten it. I've only played the demo, and as we just found out, Aaron has played the demo. But
Oh, okay. I was hoping you bought it and have been. playing
no,
it.
I haven't.
darn.
I've been doing, too much adulting. That like my video game playing has been really small lately.
Mhm.
The few
Yeah,
little bit of Monster Hunter World I play with Jarrod, and a little bit of Destiny, and then I'm kind of like maybe a little PlayStation now. But yeah, I haven't been playing a lot.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Discord chat's been pretty quiet this week.
I mean, you and Jared's been beating all the fucking games.
Oh, I know. That last month I
Jesus.
beat like 7 games or something like that. It's wild.
But yeah, no, but since Jarrod beat Immortals, I feel like we need to talk about it before it like just gets completely forgotten, because I think it's an important game. I think it's a game that it's underrated, I think, for sure at this point, and a
Highly.
lot of people I feel like have kind of passed on it because of Ubisoft's kind of just the kind of perception Ubisoft games get. They're just all the same kind of open world kind of game. And even though Immortals is an open world game, I feel like it brings a lot more to the table and has a lot more character than most Ubisoft games. And so I just want to, we'll start with Jarrod, but let's just like kind of, what was your first impressions about the game?
So the first time I encountered it was on the Stadia beta, pretty much. I don't know. I didn't have a controller or anything like that, so I played it on my laptop with mouse and keyboard, and I was terrible at it, and it was super laggy. But I liked what I played because it was pretty witty. The jokes were pretty
Oh, yeah.
silly, and I don't know, just everything was there. It's the world was just beautiful, and I really enjoyed being there.
How about you, Aaron? I mean, did you even know of this game prior to like me saying, "Hey, we're gonna do a podcast and you should download the demo and play it"? Have you heard? Did you hear? What is your kind of first impressions of the game? Where did you hear about it?
So I heard about it. Oh goodness, I heard about it on TV. They were actually doing like little spots here and there on the cable, and it's actually, I think, on Sci-Fi is where I heard about it first, out of all places, which makes sense because But I agree with Jarrod. It is very colorful, bright. The game controls is a little hard to wrap around for a second, just because I haven't played something like that in a very long while. But it was fun. The demo that they showed. I like the little snippy dialogue stuff here and there, but it was just funny because it's nice to have a little light humor banter here and there. It was great. Overall, I enjoyed the demo from what I played.
Awesome. Well, I'll share what you guys said. I don't need to add anything to that, but I will. This is an interesting thing. I'll point out as I've been reading about this game. So this game was developed by Ubisoft Quebec, the same developer that did Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And it turns out this game originated from a software bug that was discovered during the development of Odyssey. It changed the humans on the player's crew into giant cyclopses, and they decided that would be a good idea to create a separate game that embraces the mythological side of Greece due to the positive reception of Odyssey. So like this kind of weird bug happened. They thought, oh, this would be kind of fun to do. They fight all these bigger dudes. And then Ubisoft decided to greenlight this game. I mean, because it's been a while since Ubisoft had done kind of a cool thing. They had done like Child of Light. They did that that Far Cry. What is that?
Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon. Usually they're just very the same. It's just the same games. We know them. I mean, like Dave loves Far Cry. I love Assassin's Creed. But there's very little of the character that plays through, and it's very nice every once in a while that we get games, I think, that have a character, more than a character.
It's nice when a game is something different instead of just a basic formula. Like make it look real or gritty or perfect, and it's something that has style.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of people compare it to Breath of the Wild, but I mean that's more like, I don't know, pastel, I guess you would say. It's brighter colors, but Immortals has. It seems like it's pretty down to earth, but they don't make everything gritty. I mean, there's like darker areas and stuff like that, but there's still just something about them with their style that just really hits the mark the way I was really hoping it would, and I just can't get enough of the game.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you mentioned Breath of the Wild, and I think that's an important thing. I mean, it does. You when you play it, you do think Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm. I did actually, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But I
No,
think,
there's no, there's no doubting that at all.
but I do think for some of us, and maybe all three of us, I feel like, in my opinion, I won't take it out of your mouths, but it's an improvement upon Breath of the Wild. I feel everything I was lacking, I mean, I haven't played the whole game. I just played that kind of hour and a half, 2 hour demo that I played on Stadia, but it's everything I wanted Breath of the Wild to be. It has that funnier, interesting, more engaging story. I think the combat is less punishing and a little more fun. It just, and then it has that open world, that whole open world aspect. I mean, Jarrod, you want to talk about that?
Well, the biggest part about it is that there is a battle system. Legend of Zelda has, swing your sword. That's about it. Maybe throw some
Yeah.
Swing
stuff.
your sword, break your sword.
Right.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not in depth. I mean, there's probably more to it that I just didn't have the patience for. But one hit enemies and all that stuff for the whole game are kind of lame. And this one, even when you're against powerful enemies, if you're skilled enough, you can take them down, and it's a lot of fun. The battle system in Immortals is top notch. It's really fun to parry and counter, and it's just really exciting. Like I didn't shy away from battles in that game because I really enjoyed it. Like usually you can just kind of walk by, oh, okay, whatever. I don't need to do that right now, but I'm always just jumping in there because I have so much fun doing the battles.
I mean, I think all three of us have played Breath of the Wild. So, like, Aaron, what was your kind of comparison? Like, what do you take away from this game versus what does it do that Breath of the Wild didn't do for you?
Well, let's see. To start off with, Breath of the Wild. Honestly, when I literally could stop playing that game, forget about it for a while, and forget, oh yeah, I had it. However, I feel like with Immortal Fenyx, I don't want to stop playing. I feel like it's just a compelling enough story to keep me going. Whereas Breath of the Wild, it's a story-ish. Like, here's the bad guy. Go get him. How do you do it? I don't know. That's Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, here's a picture, and
Go do it.
find the place that this picture's at.
Yeah, but
Does that make us less of a gamer that we don't want to figure it out? That we want to be spoon-fed that knowledge, though?
Not really, because they don't. It's kind of like the spoon. Yes, it's more spoon-fed, but sometimes it's nice to have some sort of direction. You can take any way to get there, but at least it's like more forgiving. Meanwhile, it takes you forever to even want to fight this final boss that's right there, or you can go right at the beginning and just get destroyed immediately, and that's fun.
Oh,
but
sorry. Finish your.
Oh, I was just saying. I feel like with. I mean, I know there's people that are skilled enough to take down Calamity Ganon with a stick and a wooden shield.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm not one of those people.
No.
None of us are. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jarrod.
But Immortal Fenyx Rising gives you the chance to do that.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's the game uses a lot of the stuff that Breath of the Wild had, but I mean, open world games have been around a long time, so I don't know. It's just
again,
like Legend of Zelda has the attitude towards its game of find the fun, which all games have infused. There's certain parts like Ubisoft throws all sorts of crap at the game and hope that you'll find something in the game you like, mini games and like puzzles and that kind of stuff. But I found it much harder in The Legend of Zelda to find the fun because what I go into that kind of game for now is actually like the battle system and actually having fun fighting enemies. But there wasn't any fun in that for me.
It's funny you say that, like Ubisoft throws all the shit in there. I mean, as a guy who plays a lot of Ubisoft games, specifically a lot of Assassin's Creed games, and I can look at this game and I can see where it comes from, but I can see how just more streamlined and how much fat they cut out, and I can just see the focus which is awesome. I wish Ubisoft would like take this. This is the problem with this game is like I wish more people would play it so they could and it would be really successful because it's a really, in my opinion, I haven't played all of it, but it just in the first 2 hours that I played, it just seems like such a more focused game. Like playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey is like that's 200 hours of your life gone. I mean, it's like it's just there's none of that being streamlined, and I just really appreciated Immortals Fenyx. Like, man, this could be the future of Assassin's Creed or whatever, but I don't know if enough people are going to play it because it's being labeled as that Breath of the Wild clone game.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a better clone. It's like literally Breath of the Wild came, and then Immortal Fenyx came as its clone, and then ransacked Breath of the Wild and threw it into a pit.
You're never going to get that. You're never going to get that from people, though. No one's. No,
I know.
I mean, maybe us weirdo gamers at Couch Co-op feel that this game's better than. But there's so many people that think that Breath of the Wild is that greatest open world game. It did all this shit first.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is fine. It's fine. It's not. Breath of the Wild is a great game. It's a fine game.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Like, open world games had been around a long time, and I feel that a lot of like just core Nintendo fans or people that hadn't played video games in a long time, or at least skipped a generation or so, hadn't played an open world game, so they had no expectations when they're going in there. But I mean, of course, the critics were just choking on Nintendo's pieces. Talking about the game and reviewing it, and I mean, people loved it. They really did. But I mean, open world games have been around a long time, and I don't know. Nintendo just Nintendoed their version of it, and I hope they learned a lot of lessons from doing Breath of the Wild, and hope they make some advancements for people that really just had troubles finding the fun in the title, and they could definitely learn from Immortals in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
And it would be nice to see like Nintendo actually concentrating on battle system in Legend of Zelda. It would be fun if using Link was actually exciting.
So here's my other question. Like, do you think Immortals Fenyx Rising is the worst name? Like, its original name was Gods and Monsters. Was that a better name, or did it not matter?
I think it mattered a lot. I think a lot of people saw the trailer and they're like, "Whoa, Gods and Monsters looks amazing!" Everybody's talking about that for a few weeks, and then there's no word about it for a while, and then it comes back with this brand new name, new trailer, and all that, and it looks quite a bit different. It's not as saturated in color, but it still looks great. And then it's this long title nobody's gonna remember. Like, I have to think every time I want to say it, and it's kind of annoying. There's one mission in the game that's called Gods and Monsters, and they really should have just left the title that way.
And then Fenyx is spelled weird, and it's. Do you guys? Oh, go ahead, Jarrod.
It could have easily just been Gods and Monsters : Fenyx Rising.
Sure.
There's.
No. Do you know why it was changed? The name was changed.
Because it fleshed out more and it became a completely different thing.
No, they had to change the name. They had to change the name due to a trademark challenge by fucking Monster Energy drink.
Oh, I didn't know it was Monster Energy.
Are you kidding me? Gods and Monsters and Monster Energy drink is like, that's why they had to change the name. It's not because.
So what? Like Monsters Inc. Are they tackling Pixar? I mean, what?
Where's
dumb.
Pixar at being like, hey, motherfuckers, we have Monster Inc., motherfuckers? No, yeah, exactly. It's Gods and Monsters, plural. It's not, has nothing to do with Monster Energy drink. It's just, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, these big companies are so annoying. Yeah, we're protecting our brand, but we're going to be in a video game, for no reason.
And I think that probably hurt it a little bit, because I think Gods and Monsters is a better name. And like, it doesn't even it's just that's so crazy. That's so crazy.
That's wild. I didn't know about the Monster Energy drink thing.
Yeah, that's the trademark challenge that Ubisoft decided not to fight it, and they changed their name.
Oh.
And that might have hurt them. I think it might have hurt them. They should have fought for it, because I don't think they would have. I don't see how they would have lost. I don't.
Mm-mm.
It's not
I,
like
I bet there's still people that don't pay a lot of attention that are like, I wonder if Ubisoft's ever releasing that Gods and Monsters game.
well, it's not like Sony's being like, well, we have this game called God of War, so we should probably
Right.
attack Ubisoft because it has the word God in it. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Eh,
yeah.
It's not like it's
Yeah,
just called
me-
Monster.
right.
If it was called Monster Superpowers, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Or
know.
if the potions had a big M on them, yeah, maybe.
I
but
don't know.
Come on.
Yeah.
But it's like,
No, I-
Jesus Christ, step off.
Yeah, that's
Step
wild.
off.
Right.
That's
Come on.
ridiculous. Rockstar for life. Anyway.
Rockstar, baby.
That's my jam.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, and then this is interesting too. You guys might find interesting. I don't know. Jeffrey Yohalem. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. I'm butchering it. But his previous writing work was on Assassin's Creed 2, Far Cry 3, and Child of Light, and he's the guy that wrote the stuff for Gods.
I loved all of those.
Yeah, these are all
Yeah,
like the
they're
very
awesome.
this is like basically the jumping off point for like this is like the template for all Ubisoft games. He's like their best writer and all
Yeah, that's
all the
great.
games kind of but let's talk about that, man, cuz like even in just a simple little time I spent with Immortals Fenyx Rising, that writing is so much fun.
It was.
And there
really
there is a lot of it.
I bet there is, and I'm just
There
like
is tons
and I'm
of
thinking like
dialogue.
this could get annoying, but while I'm playing through this, it's I'm chuckling quite a bit actually. Like it's quirky and
Same.
fast, and you'll miss jokes if you're not paying attention. It's I don't know.
And some Greek mythology you kind of need to know, but not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
they kind of explain like this is this person's son, and all these people are from Zeus, and they explain a lot of it through the game, so you don't have to have like a super great understanding of Greek mythology to actually understand the game.
right.
But pretty much any side quest or mission you're doing, it's Zeus and Prometheus talking.
Yeah.
Prometheus is telling the story about Phoenix in the game, and Zeus is kind of trying to change or fight some of the things that are happening with witty comments and stuff like that.
Right.
So it ends up being real funny stuff. And like Prometheus, he was the god that gave humans human fire.
Fire. Yeah.
He stole it from the gods and gave it to humans, and Zeus chained him up on top of a mountain. So he's always cracking jokes about, I hope someday I can get off this mountain.
Without
So the-
spoiling the game, obviously, Jared. I mean, do you feel that it holds on to that comedy all the way through, or does it like kind of get tiring and dive? Or what do you feel?
Oh, I loved it. I
All-
did.
All the way?
Yeah, all the way through. And I spent a lot of time in the game because I cleared all but like the final zone pretty much before I beat the game. I still want to go through and clear out some of the other stuff to do in the game because, well, it's fun. It is. It's really fun. And I'll probably get the DLC eventually. I think it's like $15. It just came out this last week. So I'm excited to see that. There's a season pass for like $40. I think there's 3 packs of DLC that are going to come out for it. So maybe.
The one thing about Ubisoft games that like if you just hold off, that shit gets really cheap pretty
Yeah.
fast eventually. So like the season's pass will probably be like $15 in like a few
Yeah.
months, So it's like one of those
I'll probably
things.
do that. Yeah.
So-
I like to save as much money as I can. So I mean, I
Right.
bought Phoenix
Right.
on sale for what, $40 for the PS5, something like that, 30, 40.
Yeah, and it was
'Cause it
on
went-
sale
it
for
went down pretty
30 just recently on Amazon, so you could get the disc with PS4,
Yeah.
PS5 version. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
Aaron,
yeah.
when you get a PS5, I'll let you borrow it.
yeah, there you go.
All right.
Aaron, so I mean, what did you think of the writing and stuff? I mean, we don't get a lot of funny games. And that's something I think the couch
No.
really enjoys is like South Park and like the kind of. Did you think it was funny, or do you just think it's kind of like meh?
Oh no, I loved the entire witty banter between Prometheus and Zeus, and then occasionally Phoenix would try and say something. It's like, no one asked you. It's like,
Oh, Phoenix is
that-
great.
Yeah, but no, the whole dialogue was just awesome. I mean, I could see it eventually getting tiring, but I didn't see that till the very, very end of the game. But even then, I couldn't even imagine it getting boring. It looks like it was just kind of like, at first I liked the fact they started off all serious, and then Zeus like, wait a minute, no. Here's what's happening. And then it's like, wait, what? No. that's not how it happens, Zeus. He's like, yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Like it's like basically an argument between two children in a sense, but it's just so fun and nice, and there's a nice change of pace. I mean, last game with that type of dialogue that was that good, I think was actually Ratchet and Clank, honestly. Like the PS4 one, that one was
Yeah.
actually really good.
Oh yeah, for
But-
sure.
Well, I think you can actually play through the game as the guy in the game as well. There's a guy. I think you can
Huh.
play as him, which I do think I might start a new playthrough just to see if it changes, because I don't know. I mean, if the game's called Phoenix Rising,
Oh, I thought the
don't
Phoenix
know.
was like whatever character you created was that character. No.
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah.
because I mean the guy. I think how it works is whoever you don't pick is the person that you bump into throughout the game.
I see.
They
Oh,
did that in
cool.
Assassin's Creed as well, right?
Yes, in Odyssey, not in the current
Yeah,
Valhalla, but
yeah.
in
So
Odyssey,
I think they
whatever-
carried that through.
Well, is he the bad guy in Phoenix? I don't know.
Yeah, he does stuff.
Okay, I don't.
I
okay,
mean,
what
I don't
doesn't
want to
spoil
throw
it.
too much stuff in
Okay.
there, but
All right.
yeah,
Yeah. So if
I
you
mean,
pick
yes.
if you pick the girl, then the boy is the villain in Odyssey, and if you pick the boy, then the girl is the villain in Odyssey. That's how that works.
Yeah, it'd probably be the same, but I'll probably start a new game just so I can see if anything changes.
Gotcha.
But the female lead, I love her voice acting. I don't know who did it, but the voice acting is top notch. She did such a great job, and I like her accent. She did a really amazing work.
It was
It was
good.
impressive.
Yeah, that's another thing I liked. Also, the voice acting itself is just like you felt like each person, even though it was only 3 at the point in time, were actually that person. Like they didn't need it. They casted very well for the 3 that I heard. I mean, I don't know about the guy, but that's just because the demo is a girl. So.
Right.
So
But
my
can't wait.
daughter really wanted to play the game, so I started a game for her, and I didn't want her to hear a lot of the dialogue. You know, some of it's a little much for a 7-year-old. So I turned the dialogue to French because Ubisoft is a French company,
Right.
and man, that voice acting is awesome too. It sounds great. It really does.
That's funny.
nice.
Yeah. So they have a lot of different languages, of course, but it's kind of fun to listen to a game you've played through for so many hours. Listening to it in a different language is pretty fun.
So talking about sound, let's move to we could talk about music really quickly. I don't know. In my 2 hours, the music never really made a presence in my head for me, but Gareth Cocker, who previously worked on Ori and the Blind Forest and in the sequel Will of the Wisps, is the guy who composed the music for this game. And maybe Jarrod, you could speak to this. Was the music something you paid attention to, or was it just kind of forgettable?
I don't think it was highlighted as much as the other aspects of the game. The music was kind of, off the beaten path, I'd say. So, I mean, usually I'm one to really notice music and love music in a game, but I don't know. I just didn't really pay attention to the music, I guess.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It must not have been like super out there. Nothing like some games, the music just really
Right.
cranks out and is louder than everything. But there's so much dialogue in the game. I don't think they wanted to interfere with that too much.
Right. Aaron, do you have anything to add, or you agree?
I actually do 100% agree with that. I mean, I'm depending on the game, the music makes or breaks it really. But that one, I'd forget it honestly.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you if there was a theme or.
Yeah,
something.
they're like when you turn it on, there's a theme. It sounds nice, but then after that, I'm just like, oh, I couldn't hum one of the pieces of music for you.
Right.
Mm.
Well, let's
I
talk
mean,
about.
yeah.
Okay. Let's talk
Go
about
ahead.
something that I think is really awesome in this game, and I think it's the combat system, man. I think it's the most refined combat system Ubisoft has ever put together in a fucking game of this kind. I mean, it's just there's a lot of things to it, but it's also pretty simple.
Yeah, dude, after you unlock a lot of the skills and start utilizing them and figuring out enemies' weaknesses, it
Right.
feels so good to play the battles in the game. Like I don't remember the last time I had this much fun in like an action. I don't know, what would you even call that? It's just like action battle system.
Yeah,
I
it's like
guess.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
you're kind of like your God of War. It's any kind of those kind of like
You're
Devil May
clobbering.
Cry,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
kind of like a little streamlined, but it offers more than like Assassin's Creed, in my opinion. I don't know. It's interesting.
A lot of people at the beginning kind of complain about how the buttons and all that work. It's different and it's unfamiliar
Uh,
from how most people play games like that. But every single button is utilized in such a smart way. Yes, it took me a little bit to get used to exactly how to use them, but come on, every new game shouldn't feel exactly the same.
Actually, it's a video
Right.
No
game, right?
reason.
It's a video game.
And
Learn.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
After, a few hours of the game, after I started unlocking everything, by the time I got most or all of my skills, I was like on top of it and having a ton of fun with all the skills and actions and everything that I could do. I was using everything. So
Right.
yeah, don't just stick with it. Don't change those buttons because everything is attached to something some way.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The first part is like you just try to figure out the heavy weapons and the basic weapons. It's hard to figure out the first couple fights, but like you said, once you get used to it, and even the dodge, I always have a hard time dodging in any video game, period. But after I figured out all that stuff, it was just so much fun, especially when you take down the Cyclops in the demo.
Yeah,
It is
most of
fun.
the enemies project what they're going to do pretty
Yeah,
well.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so that's
definitely
not a concern too much. I mean, some games they don't really show you when an enemy is going to attack or what kind of attack it is. It's kind of more of a
right.
guessing game, but this one's more. They want you to be more tactical and kind of mess with the enemy and have fun countering and doing that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Because staggering them is, it's actually really fun when you finally stagger an enemy if you're doing all the
Oh
right
yeah.
stuff, and you can just maul on them, and it's so fun.
And I also like the fact at the end of the thing where like instead of like them just going "Arr," and burning up, they just go flying off the screen.
Oh yeah,
That was pretty awesome.
that's so great. And every single enemy you beat ends up just flying away like Superman just punched him in the face. It's so good.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it.
I loved
But
it too.
that's not it. It doesn't seem like it's a comedy punchline. It looks really cool. The effects awesome, and like on big
Right.
guys, it will kind of show you, the camera will turn a little bit so you can see him fly off into the distance like a giant Cyclops
Yeah.
dude just flying out there.
The final hit or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
That's
good.
pretty dope.
And that's the combat, which I agree
Yeah.
with all of you guys. The next thing is then the puzzles. How do we feel? How well do they fit in? Do they feel like Breath of the Wild clones? Are they too hard? Are they too easy? How do we feel about the puzzles?
The puzzles,
Much better.
I have done many of them, and while they might not require as much like thinking because the magnetic stuff and all that stuff is not in there, except for I guess the DLC added some of that kind of junk. But there's a lot of puzzles that you really do have to think and react to the environment and use things that you've found in the environment. Some puzzles I'm like, I don't know, I can't find something light, so I like ran, quite a ways away to chop down a tree and grab a tree trunk to carry over there and set on the switch or something like that. So I felt like I had a lot of options to make the puzzles fun and engaging, because
Right.
even eventually, if you upgrade your skill set, you can make like a statue of yourself. And if you decide, oh, this is a light piece of material, I can set that on this switch,
Mhm.
and my horse is a little bit heavier, so I'm going to park my horse right here.
Right.
And then I see all these blocks I'm supposed to put on these switches, and I'm not, because I'm just overthinking. Like, I'm not going to
Right.
do this. I'm going to do this. There's so many puzzles in the game. I'm like, I'm just going to fool with the system and have fun with it.
Right.
Right.
What do you think, Aaron?
After playing that and then before that playing Breath of the Wild, I hated the puzzles in Breath of the Wild so much because it's just so much shit you have to do even to get through that room. But with Phoenix, it was like I had fun doing the puzzles. I don't usually have much fun doing puzzles. I'm like, okay, get this piece here, get this piece there. Nope, that doesn't work. That goes here. Phoenix, it didn't feel like that at all. I felt like I was just like oh, okay. Oh, there's some baddies at the fight to get to the next puzzle piece. Okay, this is cool. It felt
Yeah.
like it was actually fun to do puzzles even. That doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, you actually knew where you needed to go. You just had to figure out how to get there. And some of them do require thinking. Some of them require battling skills. Some of them
Right.
require different talents that you've acquired through the game. Some of them you can't access until you get the talents you need.
Right.
So it's really varied. Like some of the puzzles require like one of the skills you got. You have to fly up into the air so you can get to higher distances and that kind of stuff. So it's really varied. I think it switched it up enough for me where I really enjoy going into those vaults, is
Right.
what they're called, vaults of Typhon.
I don't
or
know.
Tartarus. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so like I played 2 hours on Stadia. Aaron played a couple hours maybe on PS4, and then
Yeah, that was
Jarrod
it.
played the entire game on PS5. Just from my perspective on Stadia, I played this game flawlessly, ran wonderfully on 1080, no glitches or anything for me. Aaron, did it run pretty good? Okay for you on PS4?
Oh, it ran. I didn't even. It ran like a dream. Honestly, after playing games like, I don't know, like Cyberpunk, occasional Doom had glitches. Cyberpunk, okay, I love that game, but it had the minor issues. But overall, I enjoyed that game. I'm enjoying that game. But no, Phoenix Rising, they did a damn good job at fixing any potential bugs that could have came. There were some there's clearly that could have had bugs like falling, climbing, puzzles, even some fighting scenes. Uh, I couldn't find anything in there, honestly. It was just so damn smooth. Like,
So-
I've had no problems on PS4. It ran flawlessly.
So then the PS5 version, Jarrod, is it no issues for you either?
No, not at all. And like PS4 Pro, you can select options on games, and I chose the performance mode, so I could get 60 frames per second, and that is going to be my default for any game because as console gamers, we haven't really gotten used to the fact that games run faster than 30 frames per second on average.
Right.
But now that I have the option to run most games at 60 frames per second, it's a game changer. It really is. PC gamers have been using that kind of stuff, 60 plus, for years
Our
and years
time.
and years and years. But finally,
Dude,
console
yeah.
games are
Miles
there.
Morales at 60 frames is like unreal.
Oh, yeah. So
Though I
the
like
game ran as smooth as butter. It was so great. I love playing games at that frame rate. It's so good.
cool.
Oh wait, I have to admit, when I played the Stadia demo, I played it right here on my cell phone.
Nice.
And as much as I dislike playing games on a cell phone, it ran really good. And my phone doesn't play games that well, but with
Right.
Stadia it worked really well.
Mhm.
It's a shame that they're not doing great and shutting down studios and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
it's too bad. Like Stadia does have some. They do offer something. I just feel like it's been marketed so poorly, but like
Yeah.
they for some
Yeah.
reason Ubisoft has partnered with them really closely, and like the first 2 demos for Immortals Fenyx was exclusive to Stadia. That's how I played it. That's how Jarrod played it. It wasn't until just recently, because I don't think the game is selling as well as they would like it to, which is too bad because I think the game's awesome.
Yeah.
That it
amazing.
opened up like on PS4 and Xbox and everything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I honestly haven't read any of the reviews about it. I saw it had like a 79, maybe
It's
up
all
to
over
like
it's all over the
83
place, man. It's like
on Metacritic, but I
bad.
need to read some of them just to see like what are people
no
complaining
here.
about?
Destructoid gave it a
fun.
7. Easy Allies gave it an 8. EGM gave it 3 stars out of 5. Game Informer gave it 9 out of 10. We get Gamer Evolution at 3 out of 5. GameSpot 7 out of 10. Hardcore Gamer 4.5 out of 5. You know, it's all over the place, man. It's like summer high.
Wow.
Nintendo World Report gave it a 6 out of 10. It's like what?
Well,
Shaq,
that's Nintendo. They're
it's
just
Nintendo.
jelly.
It's like, oh, it's not brother. What? Shaq News gave it 8 out of 10. So like, it's like got really great scores and really low scores. It's all over the place. It's crazy. It's like it's such a
Yeah, it's interesting. I might actually go in and read some of the reviews just to see, like, is there something I missed that I'm not supposed to enjoy?
It seems like
I mean,
such a
it's
solid
can't.
game. Like
yeah,
it seems
Right.
like just like it kind of seems like the perfect game in the sense that like it just offers so much but streamlined, and then it's just getting forgotten. And this is here's my shitty reason for not buying it. I bought Valhalla, and that game's
Oh.
in my opinion awful. Not awful. It's fine, but it's not great. It's not Odyssey great. And so I'm kind of punishing Ubisoft and waiting for Phoenix Rising to go down because I bought Valhalla for $60.
yeah.
And it clearly wasn't worth, in my opinion, $60. So I'm waiting for Phoenix digitally to be $30 because I got a digital only PS5.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
But
And you
once
got
it hits-
Valhalla digitally, right?
I did get Valhalla digitally,
Oh,
which is
okay,
fine.
darn.
But
Yeah.
once Phoenix hits that 30, I'm gonna buy it. I want to play it, and I think it's the game. It's the better Assassin's Creed game, really. And whatever, I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if I thought of getting Valhalla, but I don't know. I wasn't really in the mood for something super dark and gritty, and that game looks pretty dark and
Yeah.
gritty.
Right.
I did just recently buy my dark and gritty game for the quarter.
What,
I
Demon's
did
Souls?
buy The Last of Us 2.
Oh.
So
got it.
that
He's
one
finally
I'll
gonna play it.
probably start this
Oh.
month. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Are
Well,
you
it's
still
been $30 for like ever now.
Are you still playing
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising even after you beat it, Jarrod?
Yeah, well, I didn't play this weekend because I've been trying to clear out some of my Nintendo queue,
Right.
and I subscribed to PlayStation Now so I could play some Dead Cells
Right.
and some other stuff. So $10 will suffice for now. But I will
Right.
continue playing it. I really enjoy it, and it's
Does it
something
seem
I
like
want to keep going back to.
This is another out there question. Does it seem like a hard platinum? Have you looked at that?
Not hard. It's not like skill based. But you do have
collecting?
to collect a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, it'll still take me quite a while to collect everything, but it's not a problem because I'm enjoying it a
Right.
lot. I mean, I think I've got almost all the vaults done except for in the very last area,
Okay.
and I've done most of the puzzles. I'm missing like 3 of like the main big puzzles. I forgot what they're called, but yeah, I'm missing a few of those. I know where they all are. I just haven't had time to go back and play them yet.
Right.
So I'm just checking off the boxes, having fun.
Aaron, would you buy it on PS4 if you don't get a PS5 soon?
I don't know. I mean, I really love the game. I really did. And I want a PS5 really bad, but I want to see what I can really do on a PS5. Although my TV is not, it does 1080p, but that's as far as it goes for now. But I don't think that really matters. I just want to, I think I'd wait for PS5 just because
And you can
it'll
borrow
drop
it
in
from Jarrod.
price. Yeah.
Man, I bet
look better.
nobody's talked about using their PS5 on non 4K TV. I bet those games run and look great on a 1080p screen.
Oh, I use a PS5 on a non 4K TV. It looks great. It runs
Oh,
great.
that's okay.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm waiting. So the original plan was to buy an OLED TV. Then I reeled that back because I was gonna get 2 LED TVs to put side by side in my
Right.
game room. But now we've reeled that back and reconfigured the basement, and I think we're just gonna get the one OLED.
Okay.
And
How big?
Yeah.
Probably the smallest size, 55. But the new Sonys don't come out till this spring. So
Right.
I'm waiting because then it comes with a 2.1, the 120 hertz, all that shit. So I'm waiting for
Yeah.
that to drop. So I got a little while before
Mhm.
I get that TV, but
Yeah.
that's the plan. So then I'll have that. But I'm gonna keep the Samsung as the secondary TV. Anyway, you'll see.
Yeah, cool.
Eventually, when you guys come over, you'll see the new game night set up at some point
Nice.
when
Yeah.
COVID's over. And anyway,
Right.
but yeah,
Well, this.
I am still running. Basically, get back to Jarrod. I am running fast, awesome games on a shitty old 1080p TV.
Okay. So I don't. So I wouldn't feel so awkward if I got a PS5 and it kind of runs.
No.
Run.
You get that
Okay.
ray tracing, bruh. You get that ray tracing.
Okay. So I
So
wanted to know. You got me
So-
already. Okay.
So how does that work? I'm curious because like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, if you were doing it in like the graphics mode, it would run at 4K, but originally it would
tracing.
not have the ray tracing.
Right.
But if that's scaled back to 1080,
Oh, I don't
like
think it.
is
I
ray
think that's-
tracing still a thing in 1080?
It's still the ray tracing is definitely still a thing in 1080, but then it's the looky. Well, it's both in both. I get it.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's in both. I'd have to look
Yeah,
back.
so
I
that's-
did run it for a short time at 60 frames per second. I actually prefer not 60 frames per second because I like the
Well, you're a Mr. Film guy.
not
No.
smooth.
You like your 24 frames per second.
Yeah, you know.
Nothing higher.
I'm not a filmmaker guy, but I actually agree with Ian because I've had TVs that do that. It's more like soap opera. It's like they call it soap opera vision. I think is what it's called. And
Yeah.
it's like super smooth. It's like what the? No, I like that. I like the chunky thing. It's just
Yeah,
it
The
makes
but-
sense to me.
shuddery.
But in a
Oh.
game where you have
Thank
to
you.
react
Thank you.
to
Shudder.
like timing and stuff like that, the 60 frames is so nice. Like when I played Demon Souls, 60 frames per second, that mode was I really noticed my game improving as I played. Like
Yeah,
my,
Well,
Well,
my
that's also
skills
important, but that's
seemed
also
more
different.
manageable.
Like that's also like where it's like very time
yeah,
Yeah,
very
essential.
that
time
makes sense for it to be.
required.
It's not so. I mean, it's a little bit important for Spider-Man, but like it's not that. There's a huge window, so it's not like it's that big a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah. So Jarrod. I mean, obviously, Aaron and I have only played a couple hours, but Jarrod, what is your favorite thing about Immortals: Fenyx Rising? Like playing it, what did you think?
It's traversing the world is actually a lot of fun because you get your wings and you can jump off of anything and glide, and then you can do like a super fast glide and dive bomb, and it's just a lot of fun to traverse. I enjoy it. The
Yeah.
one downfall is like swimming. If you're swimming above the water, you're a lot slower than if you dive and then like use your dash. But that's kind of annoying. But it's one thing that was underutilized in the game is some underwater treasures because swimming actually looks pretty under the water and it works really well.
Were there
Most
things?
people don't like water puzzles, but this game doesn't have any. Well, there's like one water puzzle that I bumped into in all of the ones I've done.
Do you?
I hate
I mean,
water
we should. Was there something you didn't like about the game? I mean, obviously we should be fair. I mean, was there something you didn't care for, or they should have changed, or you would like to see changed?
Jeez.
Was
no,
was it just your game of the year? Is that what you're saying?
at this point, yeah, I think it might be, but it's pretty early for that. But so one thing they didn't explain, because I've been collecting all the coins and all the upgrade things and all that, but after you level everything up, it didn't explain to me that I could actually over level. There's like a new icon that shows up where you can over level certain things.
Over level?
I mean,
Huh.
you can keep upgrading your like stats.
Uh,
So all the coins I was collecting, I have over like 100 of the coins that you collect for doing the puzzles, and they
That
just
is pretty
were
cool.
sitting there. And I last time I played, I learned, I can use those. Okay,
hmm.
but it never once mentioned that kind of thing. But I mean, beyond that, like I don't know, I had
Pretty
a lot of
straightforward,
fun.
yeah.
Like I mean, it's a video game. It's a very video game.
There you go.
And I like video games, so like it checks all the boxes for me.
Right. Aaron, in your brief time playing the game, were there things that you stood out that maybe you thought were not cool, or were you pretty much okay with everything that they showed you in the game?
Yeah. Actually, I felt like I was pretty. I was actually good with everything. Honestly, it's basically what I wanted from a game that I was shown, and then I played the demo. And honestly, the only part that I was just like, "Oh man," was literally the end of the demo. Literally the end of the demo. Come on, right there's the ending. Okay, but other than that, I honestly couldn't. It just basically wanted me to
Keep
buy
playing.
it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Right.
keep playing. Yeah,
Awesome.
good job.
Jarrod, without spoiling this, I'm gonna assume that the game set itself up for a sequel. but don't spoil it. But does
I
this
mean,
game need a sequel? Is this a franchise? Does this game should this
it
game?
could be, but they kind of
Oh,
continue it in the DLC. So I guess it all
okay.
depends on that. But
I see. Yeah, that
I
makes a good
mean,
point.
yeah, it could, but they didn't like leave it super open or anything like that.
Okay.
Not like some games are like, here's the bad guy in your face at the end laughing or some garbage like that. I mean, it's like it's not obvious, but it could go anywhere. Like I mean, the
Would it
main threat
would it
is
be a good franchise?
defeated,
You
and
think? Do you think?
I'd like to see more. I
Right.
mean, if that writer can jump back on that and get things moving, there's a lot of other Greek gods that they could use. There's many Greek
Oh
gods,
yeah,
and they
they have
can
a
easily
ton.
expand upon that. It's wild how many gods they invented over there.
That's awesome. That's all my line of questioning. I mean, I just I think it's a game I really was interested in, and then because of Valhalla, it kind of I played. I mean, I bought so many. I buy so many Ubisoft games. I bought Watch Dogs Legions. I loved it. Got Valhalla because I was like, super excited, and then I didn't really love it. And then Immortals came out right like a week later or something, and I just like
Yeah,
couldn't. Like I was like, I gotta wait a little bit, and now I just really want to play it, and I wish it's the game I had bought instead of Valhalla. Really, ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I wish I had bought this game instead of Valhalla. So
I
Yeah.
have a feeling that's a lot of people bought Valhalla and then like, oh, I already have a big open world game
right,
and I
Oh,
haven't beat it, so oh hey, the next one came out the next week, so I
uh,
forgot about Immortals. You know, it's
how
uh,
big? How long did Immortals take you to beat, and how big is it? I guess that's a good question. Like, kind of where? How did you feel? How the size? Was it manageable or?
I mean, if you're a checkpoint to checkpoint gamer, you could probably beat it in like 15, 20 hours. But I spent like 40 hours collecting a bunch of stuff and upgrading. My character's maxed out in all the stats at 40
nice.
hours, and I beat the game. But I still, as I said, like all of the northern island is pretty much untapped.
Is that kind of the perfect like amount of time? Kind of a 20-hour game, you think?
Yeah, yeah. If you're just
Yeah.
trying to crunch through a bunch of games, yeah, you could totally just bust through it real quick if you wanted. But the side missions and helping all the gods do their specific tasks and all that stuff, it's a lot of fun just doing that too. So I mean, if you just want a quick, simple game, yeah, just jump into that and mainline it, and there you go. You don't have to do a bunch of that stuff. There's certain vaults that you have to do just to get the skills, but if you don't want to do the vaults, you don't have to. That's just where you get your Zeus's lightning to upgrade your stamina. So whatever, and if you don't really care about the stats on the armor, you know that's also you get armor in the vaults and also in chests outside. So you don't have to. I mean, they really made it so you can play the game how you want and still get stuff that's neat and useful.
Okay,
Nice.
cool. Well,
That's
I appreciate all you, being on and talking about this game. I think I don't know what I think. I just think that like it was such a cool idea. Like, it's funny. I mean, it's crazy that the story was like that they created this bug they came across, and then they made this whole other. I mean, basically, Assassin's Creed Odyssey Light in a sense. Like they did this other version of the game. But that's kind of cool in the sense that like you're creating a game and then creation comes out of creating, and I think that's
Yeah.
and it's always cool. Ubisoft does a really good job when they do these kind of creative things, like they did with Blood Dragon, or they did with Child of Light, or they did with what's that Valiant Hearts game? That was a Ubisoft game. The like when they're not just trying to chase the money. There's
They do good
a
things,
bunch
yeah.
of creative people in their studios, and it's cool every once in a while to see them create something kind of more substantial than just Far Cry 20 and Ubisoft
Yeah.
30 and or
What do we
Right.
need to do to make our numbers?
yeah,
Right.
it's just, and I hope that's what makes me feel bad that I didn't buy it initially it's like because I want to support this game, but I also don't want to support Valhalla, and I already did.
Right.
And I don't know. Which is stupid because I supported Valhalla. So anyway, I don't know.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still a pretty okay game.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's a perfectly fine game. Valhalla is not a bad game. It's just not as good as Odyssey in any fucking way. Anyway. We got a few minutes left before we wrap up this hour. You guys have any couch co-optionals you guys want to throw this direction before we get out of here?
So I just bought these new shoes recently, actually.
Shoes! Aaron's got some shoes. You gonna take one off and show
Yeah.
us?
I will.
What do we get? What is
Hold on.
that?
So they're called
How's it smell?
indestructible shoes.
How's it smell?
I don't know. I'm not gonna go in there.
Oh, you
But,
clicked on the clickbait on the side of your browser?
What shoe was it?
No, so they're called indestructible shoes, and they're made of like. So I needed new shoes for work because mine just fall apart, and these ones are like a super hard rubber on the sole and like Kevlar. I actually tried to cut them with a pair of scissors. No, sorry, not scissors, but my box knife. I couldn't do anything to them. They actually are really comfortable too. They're steel toe as well, and I thought it was gonna be like, oh, just another shoe. They're really comfortable. They're cool, but these ones are still going. They're very tough, actually. I haven't been able to fuck them up once.
I saw that ad on Facebook too.
So what are they called?
Instagram. They're called indestructible shoes.
Indestructible shoes.
Yeah.
Do they come in
they're-
more than one style?
Yeah, they have like 5 different styles. This is the Rider edition that I had, and then there's like, oh god, I wish I could remember the rest of the names. There's like the Hummer one, and there's a bunch of there's like a few other ones, but this is the one that like really got my attention because I need a new pair of shoes that are very tough and very durable. I know it's a Facebook picture thing, and I rarely ever buy anything because of Instagram or Facebook showing it, but I was like, these ones looked really nice, and
How much were they?
They were initially $160, but I got them for like actually $60 because of half off and then like a promo code for
okay. It's like, god
20%
damn.
off of that. No. They're like, after all the discounts, I got them for like $60. So
Just go buy yourself some fucking Danner boots. Those are like
Oh,
fucking
God.
grenade proof or some shit.
right. Yeah, no, these are after all that it's like $60 after all.
Okay,
that.
that's
So-
cool. That's cool.
But they're good. I recommend
they've
them
been
to
pretty
anybody who wants like a. Oh yeah. No, I mean at first it was rough getting used to them because it was like they're steel toe. They're like my heaviest pairs of shoes I've ever owned actually. But after you wear them a couple of days, it actually you don't really notice the steel toe until you actually like. Oh yeah, there it is.
Cool. How about you, Jared? Oh, you got something, Jared?
Yeah, my wife and I have started enjoying jigsaw puzzles. I would
Jigsaw
strongly
puzzles.
recommend people getting back into jigsaw
Oh
puzzles.
no.
We're working on a 2,000 piece one right now that's taken us
Oh.
a few days so far. We're almost done. But yeah,
What is
the
it of
1,000
again?
piece ones are a lot more manageable. What?
What was it? What was the 2001 of again?
It's like a little French marketplace.
Marketplace.
Old like
man.
cobblestone streets and that kind of stuff. It's really pretty, but yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, I'll do something a little more classic. I'll do on HBO Max. There is the 2-part HBO documentary sports series on Tiger Woods,
Ooh.
and that was really interesting, and it was done really well. And I just there was some stuff I didn't know about that, and it's just really interesting how that whole the sports and the gossip and the money and how that all plays out. And anyway, Tiger Woods was like was gonna be this like the new Jesus or something, and then he fucked up, but then he came back kind of. But I just found it kind of fascinating, all the inner workings, and yeah, so check it out. If you like golf or you like Tiger Woods or whatever, I found that interesting. If you don't like any of that shit, don't check it out.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I was
Yeah,
fascinated by Tiger Woods.
I also saw a great documentary on Netflix recently, the other night actually, on Tony Parker, and that's really uplifting. If you like Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs, that's a great documentary because that guy
Okay.
worked his ass off. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
anywho, I don't know why I'm so into sports. I
Eh,
don't actually like sports, but I like the idea of sport. I don't like sports, but I like the idea of sport. It's very weird.
sometimes it's just the way it goes.
Well, guys, I want to thank you all, Jarrod and Aaron, for joining me here on the couch this
Of
evening.
course.
Oh yeah.
It was a
Absolutely.
pleasure talking Immortals Fenyx Rising with you both. I'm glad Aaron popped in at the last minute. I didn't think you were gonna come. And thanks, Jarrod, for beating the game so we could talk about
Yeah.
it. We could talk about it
Right.
with some kind of importance and knowledge. And you guys can check us out on at Couch Co-op Shows on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. At Couch Co-op Shows, all one word.
No
No
hyphen.
hyphen.
Yeah. For Couch Co-op Show, again, thank you, Jarrod and Aaron. I'm Ian, and I want to remind you to all, please, be excellent to each other.
What's that?
Couch Co-op.
Oh, I did think of a last second couch co-op notice that watched it weekly, but I
Couch
rewatched
Co-op.
Face the Music. Damn, that movie's good. I actually never seen this, I didn't see it yet. I got it for Christmas and we finally watched it with me. To be fair, we did watch Double Tap before that. They're both two completely different types of humor. It's kind of like the thing versus Double Tap where it's right in your face, but